Out. Hey, what's up? Everybody, now and in the future, we're Miscreant Theatre Collective. We are reading plays for the foreseeable future, depending upon when this thing ever ends, if our government is ever intelligent enough to make sure that we nip this problem in the bud. The bud has grown, so we are not. But if we ever eliminate this issue, then this is something we can look back upon. But maybe it's not. We'll see. My name's Doron. I'm a part of the collective. Today we are reading a terrifically wonderful play by the name of The Living Room. I mean,
the bedroom.
The bedroom. The bathroom. I mean, the foyer. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's by A.R. Gurney. The dining room. Thank you. The dining room. And I guess it's by A.R. Gurney Jr., as this PDF so lovely showed us. We are going to read. It's sort of a vignette style play. There's lots of sort of vignettes that overlap, and we sort of build off each other based upon this dining room that is extremely poignant to the characters that we are reading as. My name is Doron. I'm a part of the collective. Today, which is different from tomorrow, I'm reading as Actor 2, which includes Client, Howard, Psychiatrist, Ted, Paul, Ben, Chris, Jim, Dick, and Guest. And the rest of us are reading sort of the same amount of random characters that hopefully make this play sort of palatable to everybody. I don't know what jokes are. I don't know who I am. But yeah, let's go through and name ourselves. Does anybody have an interesting way to name ourselves, to go through and name ourselves? I know we did by number last week because of the wolves. I know we did by our last names. Do you want to go through and just name ourselves first actor, second actor, third actor, first actress, second actress, third actress? Or is there other sort of... Then we go through and we name ourselves. I'm getting thumbs up and head nods for naming ourselves for first actor, second actor, third actor, first actress, second actress, and third act. Did I say these things? Who knows? What am I doing? I don't know. I already named myself, and I'm playing Actor 2. So we'll go from Actor 1 to Actor 3.
I am Thomas Gerlick. I'm a member of the collective. I'm going to be playing Actor 1, which includes Father Michael Brewster, Grandfather Stewart, Gordon Harvey, David, and host.
Third actor?
I'm Actor 3. I'm Bob. I'm playing Arthur, Boy, Architect, Billy, Nick, Fred, Tony, Standish, Guest, and anything else that comes up.
I'm Angela. I'm doing Actress 1. Agent, Mother, Carolyn, Sandra, Dora, Marjorie, Beth, Kate, Claire, and Ruth.
I'm Sam Charney, and I'm playing Actress 2, which includes Annie, Grace, Peggy, Nancy, Sarah, Harriet, Emily, and Guest.
Hi, world. My name is Anneliese Farmer. I am playing the third actress. That includes Sally, Girl, Ellie, Aggie, Winky, Old Lady, Helen, Meg, Bertha, and Guest.
And I'm Erin Slimak. Looking forward to everyone listening, remembering all of those lists that everyone's saying. And I will be reading the stage directions.
Lit. Whenever Erin decides, we will begin the show with these wonderful stage directions read by the terrifically wonderful Erin Slimak.
On with the show.
Act 1. No one on stage. The dining room furniture sparkles in the early morning light. Voices from off, right. Then a woman real estate agent and her male client appear in the doorway. Both wear raincoats.
And the dining room.
Oh boy.
You see how these rooms were designed to catch the early morning light?
I'll say.
French doors, lovely garden, flowering crabs. Do you like gardening?
Used to.
Imagine having a long, leisurely breakfast in here.
As opposed to instant coffee on Eastern Avenue.
Exactly. You know, this is a room after my own heart. I grew up in a dining room just like this. Same sort of furniture, everything.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, so did I.
Me too.
Then here we are. Welcome home.
What are they asking again?
Make an offer. I think they'll come down.
Well, trouble is we'll never use this room.
Oh, now?
We won't. The last two houses we lived in, my wife used the dining room table to sort the laundry.
Oh, dear.
Maybe you'd better show me something more contemporary.
That means something farther out. How long have we got to find you a home?
One day.
And how long will the corporation keep you here after you found it?
Well, 6 months to a year.
Oh, then definitely we should look further out.
She opens the kitchen door.
You can look out. You can look at the kitchen as we leave.
You shouldn't have shown me this first.
I thought it was something to go by.
Well, you've spoiled everything else.
Oh, no. We'll find you something if we've got all day. But wasn't it a lovely room?
Let's go or I'll buy it.
They both exit through the kitchen door as a brother comes in from the hall, followed by his sister. Both are middle-aged. His name is Arthur. Hers is Sally.
The dining room.
Yes,
Notice how we gravitate right to this room.
I know it.
You sure Mother doesn't want this stuff in Florida?
She hardly has room for what she's got. She wants us to take turns without fighting.
We'll just have to draw lots then.
Unless one of us wants something and one of us doesn't.
We have to do it today.
Do you think that's enough time to divide up a whole house?
I have to get back, Sal.
He looks in the sideboard.
We'll draw lots, then go through the rooms, taking turns.
He brings out a silver spoon.
Here, we'll use this salt spoon.
He shifts it from hand to hand behind his back, then holds out two fists.
You take your pick. You get the spoon, you get the dining room.
You mean you want to start here?
You got to start somewhere.
Sally looks at his fists. Annie, a maid, comes out from the kitchen to set the table for breakfast. She sets the placemats at either end and 2 coffee cups with saucers. Sally and Arthur take no notice of her. Annie then leaves.
You mean you want the dining room?
Yeah,
What happened to the stuff you had?
Jane took it. It was part of the settlement.
If you win, where will you put it?
That's my problem, Sal.
I thought you had a tiny apartment.
I'll find a place.
I mean, your children won't want it.
Probably not.
Then where on earth?
Come on, Sal, choose.
He holds out his fists again. She starts to choose. Annie comes in from the kitchen, bringing the morning paper. She puts it at the head of the table as Arthur lowers his hands.
You don't want it.
Of course I want it.
I mean, you already have a perfectly good dining room.
Not as good as this.
You mean you want 2 dining rooms?
I'd give our old stuff to Debbie.
Debbie?
She's our oldest child.
Does Debbie want a dining room?
She might.
In a condominium?
She might.
In Denver?
She just might, Arthur.
A father comes in from the right. He settles comfortably at the head of the table, unfolds his newspaper importantly. Arthur shuffles the spoon behind his back again, then holding out his fists.
I don't want to fight. Which hand?
Sally starts to choose, then stops.
Are you planning
planning-
to store it? Oh,
Are
Sorry.
you planning to put this in storage?
I might.
I checked on that. That costs an arm and a leg.
So does shipping it to Denver.
He holds out his fists.
Good morning, Annie.
Almost picking a hand, then stopping.
I know what will happen if you win.
What?
You'll end up selling it.
Selling it?
That's what will happen. It will kick around for a while and you'll end up calling a furniture dealer.
Annie comes out with a small glass of orange juice on a tray.
I am absolutely amazed.
I don't want to fight, Arthur.
Neither do I. Maybe we should defer to living room.
He starts for the door, right. Sally following him.
Maybe we should.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Annie.
Talk in the dining room? Is that what you told Mother I'd do?
I told her I'd give you the piano if I can have the dining room.
I'll be lucky to keep this spoon.
I'll give you the piano and a coffee table if I can have the dining room.
Arthur and Sally exit into the hall.
Annie,
Yes,
Annie's
sir.
almost to the kitchen door.
Yes, sir.
did I find a seed in my orange juice this morning?
I strained it, sir.
I'm sure you did, Annie. Nonetheless, I think I may have detected a small seed.
I'll strain it twice, sir.
Seeds can wreak havoc with the digestion, Annie.
Yes, sir.
They can take root and grow.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Annie goes out. Father drinks his orange juice carefully and reads his newspaper. A little girl sticks her head out through the dining room door.
Daddy?
Yes. Good morning, Lazy Boo.
Daddy, could Charles and me,
Charlie and I.
Charlie and I, come out and sit with you while you have breakfast?
You certainly may. Lizzykins, I'd be delighted to have the pleasure of your company provided.
Yippee!
I said, provided you sit quietly without leaning back in your chair and don't fight or argue.
He says we can.
I said you may, sweetheart.
The girl comes out adoringly, followed by a little boy. Girl kissing her father.
Good morning, Daddy.
Boy
Good
kissing
morning,
him too.
Dad.
They settle into their seats. Annie brings out the father's breakfast.
Here's your cream, sir.
Thank you, Annie.
You're welcome, sir.
Annie goes out. The children watch their father.
Dad,
Hmm.
when do we get to have fresh cream on our shredded wheat?
When you grow up, that's when.
I'll tell you one thing. If there's a war, no one gets cream. If there's a war, we'll all have to settle for top of the bottle.
Mother said she was thinking about having us eat dinner in here with you every night.
Yes. Your mother and I are both thinking about that, and we're both looking forward to it. As soon as you children learn to sit up straight,
They quickly do.
then I see no reason why we shouldn't all have a pleasant meal together every evening.
Could we try it tonight, Dad? Could you give us a test?
No, Charlie, not tonight. Because tonight we're giving a small dinner party. But I hope very much that you and Liz will come down and shake hands.
I get so shy, Dad.
Well, you'll just have to learn, sweetie pie. Half of life is learning to meet people.
What's the other half, Dad?
Pause. The father fixes him with a steely gaze.
Is that a crack?
No, Dad.
That was a crack, wasn't it?
No, Dad, really.
That sounded very much like a smart guy wisecracked me, and people who make cracks that don't normally eat in dining room. They don't normally eat in dining rooms.
I didn't mean it as a crack, Dad.
Then we'll ignore it. We'll go on with our breakfast.
Annie comes in.
Your car's here, Lizzie, for school?
Girl jumping up.
Okay.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Annie.
Kisses father.
Goodbye, Daddy. Goodbye, Daddy.
Goodbye, darling. Don't be late. Say good morning to the driver. Sit quietly in the car. Work hard. Run, run. Goodbye.
Girl goes off. Father returns to his paper. Pause. Boy sits watching his father.
Dad, can I read the funnies?
Certainly. Certainly you may.
He carefully extracts the second section and hands it to his son. Both read, the son trying to imitate the father and how he does it. Finally,
This won't mean much to you, but the government is systematically ruining this country.
Miss Kelly told us about the government.
Oh, really? And what? And who is Miss Kelly, pray tell?
She's my teacher.
I don't remember any Miss Kelly.
She's new, Dad.
I see. And what has she been telling you?
She said there's a depression going on.
I see.
People all over the country are standing in line for bread.
I see.
So the government has to step in and do something.
Annie?
coming out of kitchen.
Yes, sir.
I'd very much like some coffee, please.
Yes, sir.
She goes out.
You tell Miss Kelly she's wrong.
Why?
I'll tell you exactly why. If the government keeps on handing out money, no one will want to work. And if no one wants to work, there won't be anyone around to support such things as private schools. And if no one is supporting private schools, then Miss Kelly will be standing on the breadline along with everyone else. You tell Miss Kelly if you please.
Annie comes in and pours coffee.
Thank you, Annie.
Father returns to his paper. Annie has retreated to the kitchen. Boy reads his funnies for a moment.
Dad,
Hmm.
could we leave a little earlier today?
We'll leave when we always leave.
But I'm always late, Dad.
Sense.
I am, Dad. Yesterday I had to walk in with assembly while they were still singing the hymn.
A minute or two late.
Everyone looked at me, Dad.
You tell everyone to concentrate on that hymn.
I can't, Dad.
It's that new spotlight on Richmond Avenue. It affects our timing.
It's not just a new stoplight, Dad. Sometimes I come in when they're already doing arithmetic. Miss Kelly says I should learn to be punctual.
Miss Kelly again, eh?
She said if everyone is late, no one would learn any mathematics.
Now, you listen to me, Charlie. Miss Kelly may be an excellent teacher. Her factoring may be flawless, her geography be unquestioned, but Miss Kelly does not teach us politics, nor does she teach us how to run our lives. She's not going to tell you or me to leave in the middle of a pleasant breakfast and get caught in the bulk of the morning traffic just so that you can arrive in time for some silly hymn. Long after you've forgotten that hymn, long after you've forgotten how to factor, long after you've forgotten Miss Kelly, you will remember these pleasant breakfasts around this dining room table.
Mother glides into the room from the right.
And here is your mother to prove it.
Kissing Father.
Good morning, dear.
Kissing Charlie.
Good morning, Charlie.
I know people who leap to their feet when a beautiful woman enters the room.
Charlie jumps up.
Oh, that's all right, dear.
I also know people who rush to push in their mother's chair.
Charlie does so.
Thank you, dear.
And finally, I know people who are quick to give their mother the second section of the morning paper.
Oh, here, Mum.
Thank you, dear.
Now, Charlie, take a moment, if you would. Just look at your lovely mother, bathed in the morning sunlight, and reflect in the dining room table.
Oh, Russell.
Charlie looks at his mother.
Look at her, Charlie. And then ask yourself carefully, which is worth our ultimate attention, your mother or Miss Kelly?
Who is Miss Kelly?
Never mind, dear. But which, Charlie?
My mother.
Good, Charlie. Fine.
He gets up, taking his section of the paper.
And now I think you should make a trip upstairs before we say goodbye and are on our way.
Mother smiles sweetly. Father and son leave the room. Annie enters, carrying a coffee server.
Good morning, Annie.
Good morning, miss.
Tell Irma I'll have poached eggs this morning, please, Annie.
Yes, miss.
She goes out. Mother sits, sipping coffee, reading her section of the paper. A youngish woman, call her Ellie, comes out of the kitchen. Her arms are stacked with a small portable typewriter, papers, several books and notebooks. She finds a place at the table and begins to spread things out around her.
Open.
Mother pays no
Yeah.
attention to her. A man called Howard, carrying a briefcase, appears at right.
Hey,
Oh, I thought you had gone.
I forgot my briefcase. What's going on?
I have to get this term paper done.
In here?
Where else?
You're going to type.
Of course I'm going to type.
In here, at the table.
Why not?
Where you're going to sit there, banging a typewriter on my family's dining room table?
Why not?
Well, because it wasn't designed for it, that's why.
Oh, Howard.
Lucky I came back. Next thing you know, you'll be feeding the dog off a low-stuffed china.
It's got rubber pads under it. I checked.
Gets up, goes to sideboard.
And I'll get something else if you want.
She takes out a couple of placemats.
You're not going to use those placemats.
I thought I would, yes.
Those are good placemats.
We haven't used them in 10 years.
Those are extremely good placemats, Ellie. Mother got those in Italy.
All right.
She puts the placemats back in the sideboard, rummages around, finds a couple of hot pads. He watches her carefully.
I'll use these then. Mind if I use these? We put pots on them. We can certainly put a typewriter.
She carries them to the table, puts them under the typewriter, continues to get things set up. Howard watches her. Meanwhile, Mother, impatient for her poached eggs, puts down her paper and rings a little silver bell on the table in front of her. Annie comes out of the kitchen.
Yes, miss.
I wonder if anything might have happened to my poached eggs, Annie.
Irma's cooking 2 more, miss.
2 more?
The first one slid off the plate while she was buttering the toast.
Standing up.
Is she drinking again, Annie?
No, miss.
Tell me the truth.
I don't think so, miss.
I'd better go see. A simple question of 2 poached eggs.
She starts for the kitchen.
Honestly, Annie, sometimes I think it's almost better if we just do things ourselves.
Yes, miss.
Mother goes out into the kitchen. Annie clears the mother's and father's places, leaving a glass and plate for the next scene. Annie exits. Ellie to Howard, who is standing at the doorway, still watching.
Don't you have a plane to catch? It's kind of hard to work when your husband is hovering over you like a helicopter.
Well, it's kind of hard to leave when your wife is systematically mutilating the dining room table.
I'll be careful, Howard. I swear. Now, goodbye.
She begins to hunt and peck on the typewriter. Howard starts out, then stops.
Couldn't you please work somewhere else?
I'd like to know where, please.
What's wrong with the kitchen table?
It doesn't work, Howard. Last time the kids got peanut butter all over my footnotes.
I'll set up the bridge table in the living room.
I just have to move whenever you and the boys wanted to watch your football game.
You mean you're going to leave all that stuff here?
I thought I would, yes.
All that shit? All over the dining room?
It's a term paper, Howard. It's crucial for my degree.
You mean you're going to commandeer the dining room for the rest of the term?
It just sits here, Howard. It's never used.
What if we want to give a dinner party?
Since when have we given a dinner party?
What if we want to have a few people over, for Christ's sake?
We can eat in the kitchen.
Oh, Jesus.
Everybody does these days.
That doesn't make it right.
Let me get this done, Howard. Let me get a good grade and my master's degree and a good job so I can be out of here every day.
Fine, what the hell? Well, then why don't I turn it into a tool room every night?
He storms out. Ellie doggedly returns to her work, angrily hunting and pecking on the typewriter. Grace enters from the right. She sits down, left, and begins to work on her grocery list. Carolyn, a girl of 14, enters sleepily a moment later.
Why did you tell Mildred to wake me up, Mother?
Let me finish this grocery list.
I mean, it's Saturday, Mother.
Grace, finishing the list with a flourish,
Shh. There.
puts down the list.
I know it's Saturday, darling, and I apologize, but something has come up, and I want you to make a little decision.
What decision?
Start your breakfast, dear. No one can think on an empty stomach.
Carolyn
Now.
sits at the table.
Now guess who telephoned this morning?
Who?
Your Aunt Martha.
Oh, I love her.
So do I. Poor thing hasn't got enough to do. Shows she was on the telephone at the crack of dawn.
What did she want?
Well, now here's the thing. She's got an extra ticket for theater night, and she wants you to join her.
Well, sure.
Wait till I finish, dear. I told her it was your decision, of course, but I thought you had other plans.
What other plans?
Now think, darling. It's there something rather special going on in your life this evening?
Oh.
Am I right or am I right?
Dancing school.
Shit!
She begins to gather up her materials.
Not dancing school, sweetheart. The first session of junior assemblies, which are a big step beyond dancing school.
I can't work in this place. It's like a tomb.
She goes out into the kitchen.
I told Aunt Martha you'd call her right back so she could drum up someone else.
I thought it was my decision.
It is, sweetheart, of course.
Then I'd like to see a play with Aunt Martha.
Carolyn, I wonder if you're being a little impulsive. This morning you didn't even know what the play is.
What is it then?
Well, it happens to be a very talky play called St. Joan.
Oh, we read that in school. I want to go all the more.
It's the road company, sweetheart. It doesn't even have Catherine Cornell.
I'd still like to go.
To some endless play with your maiden aunt?
She's my favorite person.
Well, then go if it's that important to you.
Getting up,
I'll call her right now.
she starts for the door.
Carolyn,
Carolyn stops.
realize, of course, that on the first junior assembly, everyone gets acquainted.
Really?
Oh, heavens, yes. It starts the whole thing off on the right foot.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. It's like the first day of school. Once you miss, you'll never catch up.
Oh, gosh.
You see why we shouldn't make hasty decisions.
Then maybe I won't go at all.
What do you mean?
Maybe I'll skip all the junior assemblies.
Oh, Carolyn,
I don't like dancing school anyway.
don't be silly.
I don't. I've never liked it. I'm bigger than half the boys, and I never know what to say. And I'm a terrible dancer. Last year, I spent half the time in the ladies' room.
That's nonsense.
It's true, Mother. I hate dancing school. I don't know why I have to go. St. Joan wouldn't go to dancing school in a million years.
Yes, and look what happened to St. Joan.
I don't care. I've made up my mind.
Your Aunt Martha seems to have caused a little trouble around here this morning.
Maybe.
Your Aunt Martha seems to have opened up a whole can of worms.
I'm glad she did.
All right, and how do you suppose to spend your other Saturday nights? I mean, when there's no Aunt Martha and no St. Joan and all your friends are having the time of their life at junior assemblies.
I'll do something.
Such as what? Hanging around here, listening to that stupid hit parade, bothering the maids when we're planning to have a party?
Aggie, a maid, comes out of the kitchen, sits at the table, begins to polish some flat silver with a silver cloth.
I'll do something, Mother.
Grace, picking up Carolyn's breakfast dishes.
Well, you're obviously not old enough to make an intelligent decision.
I knew you wouldn't let me decide.
All right, then decide.
I'd like to go
But
with
let
that.
me tell you a very, very short story before you do about your dear Aunt Martha, who also made a little decision when she was about your age. She decided if you breathe a word of this, I'll strangle you. She decided she was in love with her riding master, and so she threw everything up and ran off with him to Taos, New Mexico, where your father had to track her down and drag her back. But it was too late, Carolyn. She had been overstimulated and more than on. She refused to join the workday world, and now there it is, in a nutshell. So think about it while I'm ordering the groceries and decide.
She goes out, carrying Carolyn's glass and plate. Aggie polishes the silver. Carolyn sits and thinks. She decides.
I've decided, Mother.
Good, I hope you've come up to your senses.
I've decided to talk to Aunt Martha.
She goes out, Grace busting through the kitchen door.
You've got a dentist appointment, Carolyn. You've got writing lessons at noon. No, we'll skip the writing lessons. But Carolyn!
She rushes out through the hall as Michael comes in through the kitchen. He's about 12.
Michael, oh, you scared me out of my skin.
I wanted to.
Pause. He comes a little closer into the room. Aggie returns to her polishing.
Your mother said you were sick this morning.
I was. I am.
So sick you couldn't go to school.
I am, Maggie. I upchucked twice.
Then you go get right back to bed.
He doesn't.
How come you didn't do my room yet?
Because I thought you were sleeping.
I just been lying there, waiting.
Well, I got more to do now. Since Ida left, I got the silver and the downstairs lavatory and all the beds besides.
He comes further in.
My mother says you want to leave us.
Pause. She polishes.
When did she say that?
Last Thursday, on your day off, when she was cooking dinner. She said that now there's a war, you're looking for a job with more money. Is that true, Ag?
Maybe.
Money isn't everything, Aggie.
Listen to him now.
You can be rich, the king, and still be miserable. Look at my Uncle Paul. He's rich as Croesus, and yet he's drinking himself into oblivion.
What do you know about all that?
I know a lot. I eat dinner here in the dining room now. I listen, and I know that my Uncle Paul is drinking himself into oblivion, and Mrs. Williams has a tipped uterus.
Here, you. You stop that talk.
Well, it's true, Ag, and it proves that money isn't everything, so you don't have to leave us.
Pause. She works. He drifts around the table.
It's not just the money, darling.
Then what, Ag? Don't you like us anymore?
Oh, Michael.
Don't you like our family?
Oh, Mikey.
Are you still mad at me for picking at you in the bathtub?
That's enough now.
Then what is it, Ag? How come you're just leaving?
Because I don't want to do domestic services anymore.
Why?
Because I don't like it no more, Mike.
That's because Ida left and you'd think you'd have too much to do, Ag.
Oh, no, darling.
Sitting down
I'll
near
help
her.
you. I'll help you, Ag. I swear. I'll make my own bed. I'll pick up my own towel. I'll try to be much more careful when I pee.
Lord love you, lad.
No, really. No, really. I will. And I'll tell my parents not to have so many dinner parties, Ag. I'll tell them to give you more time off. And I'll tell them to give you all day Sunday.
No, darling, no.
I'm serious, Ag.
I know, darling, I know.
Two men come in from the right, an architect and a prospective buyer.
Come on, mute. Okay, let's measure it out then.
The architect has a large reel tape measure and a roll of blueprints. They begin to measure the room systematically. The architect reading the figures and recording them in a small notebook. The buyer holding the end of the tape.
When will you be going then, Ag?
As soon as your mother finds someone else.
She can't find anyone, Aggie.
She will, she will.
She says she can't. They keep showing up with dirty fingernails and dyed hair.
Reading measurements, writing them down.
22 feet, 6 inches. Who's the buyer?
Fine room.
Big room.
So, you got to stay, Ag. You can't just leave people in the lurch.
Look at these French doors.
I'm looking. I'm also thinking about heat loss.
They measure more.
Just suppose we start with a clean slate. Suppose we open up here, slam a beam in here, break through here and here, blast this out, throw out that, and what do we have?
I'm not quite sure.
Well, we don't have a dining room anymore. That's what we don't have.
But where would we eat?
Here, right here. Look, I'm putting in an eating area. Here's a fridge, the cooking units, cuisinaire, butcher block table, chrome chair. See? Look at the space, the flow. Wife cook, kids at the table. You stack the dishes. All right, here. Democracy at work. In your own home. Now, let's review your day. You come down to breakfast. Everyone's fixing his or her own thing.
He goes out through the hall, reappears through the kitchen door.
Eggs, cornflakes, Pop-Tarts, whatever. You eat, chat, read the paper, say goodbye. Come in here to go to work. You're a nurse or a receptionist?
No, I'm just a humble shrink.
Architect beginning to move around the room.
Well, you come in here to the reception room. Maybe adjust the magazines on the table here. Maybe add your newspaper to the pile. Then you go through a soundproof door into your office. You turn on your stereo console here. Maybe select a book from the wall unit here. Then settle behind your desk module here. You read. You listen to music. Soon, buzz, a patient arrives. You turn off the radio, the music. Set aside your book and buzz him through the soundproof doors. He flops on the couch here.
He creates the couch with 2 upstage chairs.
Tells you his dream. You look out the window here. He leaves. You write him up. Buzz in the next. Soon it's time for lunch. You go in here, have lunch with the wife or one of the kids, and maybe stroll back in here for a nap. More buzzes, more patience. And soon it's time to go in for a good, easy, cooperative supper with your family.
But not in the dining room.
No, not in the dining room.
This room has such resonance.
So does a church. That doesn't mean we have to live in it.
Yeah.
Look, I know whereof I speak. I grew up in a room like this.
Oh, yes?
Oh, sure, this is home turf to me.
Really?
Oh, God, yes. My father sat in a chair just like that.
Yeah.
And my mother sat here, and my sister here, and I sat right here.
He sits.
Oh, it all comes back.
Well, do you want to tell me about it?
It was torture, that's all. Those endless meals, waiting to begin, waiting for the dessert, waiting to be excused so they couldn't lean on you anymore.
But was it that bad?
Man, it was brutal. I remember one time I came to the table without washing my hands. My father...
Go on.
I'll stay till you go away for the summer.
Architect measuring width of French doors.
8 feet 2 inches.
Michael gets up and comes downstage, looks out through the French doors as the architect goes upstage to record his notes on the sideboard.
You're going to get married, aren't you, Ag?
Maybe.
That guy you told me about from church?
Maybe.
You have children? You will. I know you will. You'll have a boy of your own.
Hold it right now.
Will you come back to see us?
Oh, my, yes.
You won't, Ag.
I will, surely.
You'll never come back, Ag, and I'll never see you again, ever.
Architect now measuring the width.
12 feet 4 inches.
Come here, Mike.
No.
Come here and give Aggie a big hug.
No. Why should I? No.
Just a squeeze for old time's sake.
No.
Squaring his
Go
shoulders.
Go hug your own kids, Agnes. I've got work to do. I've got a whole stack of homework, and I'm missing a whole day of school.
He runs out of the room.
Michael!
She resumes polishing the last few pieces of silver. Architect reeling in his tape with professional zeal.
Okay, there's your dining room, Doctor.
There it is.
Big room, light room, commodious room.
One of the reasons we bought the house.
And one of the reasons we should consider breaking it up.
Wait, breaking it up?
Now, bear with me. Let's say we turn this room into an office for you and a waiting room for your patients.
I thought we planned to open up those maids' rooms on the 3rd floor.
Hold on. Relax.
He begins to spread a large blueprint out on the table, anchoring its corners with his tape measure and centerpiece. Aggie has finished polishing by now. She gathers up her silver and polishing stuff and leaves.
The patient trusts the psychiatrist, doesn't he? Why can't the psychiatrist trust the architect?
He begins to sketch on the blueprint with a grease pencil.
Now, here's the ground plan of your house. Here's what you're stuck with for the moment, and here, with the appropriate dimensions, is your dining room.
I see.
Architect drawing with his grease pencil.
Now, suppose...
Architect snaps out of it, getting up.
Never mind. The point is, Doctor, it's time to get rid of this room.
Begins to roll up his plans.
Tell you frankly, I'm not interested in screwing around with any more maids' rooms. I can do that in my sleep.
Peggy comes out of the kitchen, carrying a large tray loaded with paper plates, napkins, hats, and favors for a children's birthday party. She begins to set the table.
What I want is a chance to get in here so I can open up your whole ground floor. Now, what do you say?
I have to think about it.
Okay, fine. Take your time.
He starts out.
Tell you what, I'll send you my bill for the work I've done so far.
Yeah, good. I'll send you mine.
They are out. Peggy, meanwhile, is finishing setting the birthday table. She surveys it, then goes to the doorway, right, and calls off.
All right, children, we're ready.
She is almost bowled over by a moiling, shrieking mob of children coming in to celebrate the birthday party. They scream, yell, scramble over chairs, grab for favors, rustle, whatever. Peggy claps her hands frantically.
Children, children,
Said
children.
a little.
This is a dining room. This is not the monkey house at the zoo.
They all start imitating monkeys. Peggy shouts them down.
All right, then. We'll just have to tell Roberta that in the kitchen to put away all the ice cream and cake.
The noise subsides. There's
Good.
silence.
That's much better now. I want everyone to leave the table quietly. Quietly.
Children begin to leave.
And go in the hall. And then come back in here right away. That's it. Go on. Turn around and come in. Come in as if you were minutes. Your mommies and daddies coming into a lovely dinner party.
Children come back in much more decorously, unconsciously parodying their parents.
No. Let Winky go first since it's her birthday. And she's the hostess. That's it. Good. You sit at the head of the table, Winky. Good. No, Billy. You sit next to Winky. It should be boy, girl, boy, girl. That's it. Yes. Very good.
Children are making a concerted effort to be genteel, though there are occasional subversive pokings, hittings, and gigglings.
Now, what do we do with our napkins? Yes, exactly. We unfold them and tuck them in under our chins. And where do we put our party hats?
Can the boys wear their hats in a house?
Yes, they can, Brewster, because this is a special occasion. Sometimes on special occasions, the rules can change.
Children explode. Peggy has to shout them down.
I said sometimes, and I meant some of the rules.
Another little boy named Billy pointing toward the hall.
Oop.
There's my daddy.
Where, Billy? Oh,
Oh,
hi.
Hi. Hey, hi, Bill.
Party activity continues. The children opening favors. Peggy and Ted move downstage to get away from the noise.
What brings you here?
I have to pick up Bill.
I thought Judy was picking him up.
Well, she asked me to.
You're a little early. We haven't even had our cut cake.
Well, she told me to be early.
A little girl calls from the table.
I can't get mine to work.
Help her, Brewster. Little boys are supposed to help little girls.
Oh, where's Frank?
Playing golf. Where else?
Well, on Winkle's birthday?
Don't get me started, please.
Can we have the ice cream now, please?
In a minute, dear. Be patient. Then you'll have something to look forward to.
The children whisperingly begin to count to 60.
Judy must have known he'd been playing golf.
Judy knows everything.
She knows about us, at least.
About us? How?
Well, she said she could tell by the way we behaved.
Behaved? Where?
We're at the Bramwell's dinner party.
We hardly spoke to each other.
Well, that's how she could tell.
The children's counting has turned to a chant. We want ice cream. We want
Ice cream.
We want ice
They want
cream.
ice cream.
We want
She
ice
starts
cream.
for the kitchen.
As she says, she'll fight it tooth and nail.
Fight what? We haven't done anything.
Well, she says she wants to nip it in the bud. Ice
Ice cream.
Ice
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 cream.
All right,
cream.
all right, children, you win.
Hey.
Now, Roberta is very busy in the kitchen because she also has a dinner party tonight. So who would like to help me bring things out?
Hands up, squeal.
Me.
All right. Tell you what. Billy, you go get ice cream. Sandra, you bring out the cake. Carefully.
Yay.
Carefully. Walk. Don't run. And be polite to Roberta because she's working very, very hard. And Brewster and Winky, you have your other responsibilities.
Sandra and Billy go out into the kitchen.
What will you do?
Sing a song.
Good, Brewster. Now be very quiet and watch the door. And as soon as they come out, start singing.
The children watch the door. Peggy hurries back to Ted.
So what do we do?
Well, she's thinking that she says she's thinking of telling her father.
Her father?
Well, he'd fire me immediately.
What if he did?
I'd be out of a job, Peggy.
You could get another?
Where? Doing what?
The dining room door opens. Billy and Sandra come out carefully carrying a cake platter and an ice cream bowl. Everyone starts singing.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear
dear
Winky.
Happy
Winky.
birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to you.
Winky has been singing happy birthday to me. Billy puts the cake down in front of Winky, who takes a deep breath to blow out the candles.
No, sweetheart. Wait. Also, wait before you blow out the candles. You must make a wish. And Mommy has to make a wish. See, Mommy's putting her wedding ring around one of the candles. Now, we both close our eyes and make a wish.
I wish I could have.
No. But don't tell. Never tell a wish. If you don't do, it won't come true. All right. Now blow.
Winky blows out the candles. The children cheer.
Yay.
Yay!
Now, Winky, would you cut the cake and give everyone a piece, please? And Brewster, you pass the ice cream.
The children organize their food as Peggy joins Ted downstage. There's a kind of cooing hum of children eating, which punctuates their dialogue.
What'd you wish for?
Won't tell.
Do you think it will come true?
No.
She'd make it so messy for everyone.
Judy?
Well, she'd make it impossible.
So would Frank.
I thought he didn't care.
He'd care if it were messy.
We could leave town.
And go where?
Wherever I find another job.
Yes.
I've got an uncle in Syracuse.
Syracuse.
We could live there.
It is nice, Syracuse.
I think it's on some lake.
Syracuse.
You'd have Winky. I'd get Bill in the summer.
In Syracuse.
At least we'd be free.
They look at their children.
Winky, wipe your mouth, please.
She goes to Winky.
Billy,
What?
would you come here a minute, please?
Billy does. Ted takes him aside.
Do you have to go to the bathroom?
No.
Well, then don't do that, please.
Don't do what?
You know what. Now go back and enjoy the party.
Billy returns to his seat. Ted rejoins Peggy.
Hey, sorry.
I grew up here
Who didn't?
just to pick up stakes.
I know.
I mean, this is where I live.
Me too. We'll have to behave ourselves then.
Oh, Ted.
Be good little children.
Oh, I can't stand it.
She takes his hand and presses it furtively to her lips.
And if we're seated next to each other, we'll just have to make a conscious effort.
Oh, we won't be seated next to each other. Judy will see to that.
Well, for a while anyway.
For quite a while.
Children are getting noisy. Winky comes up.
Everyone's finished, Mummy.
Thank you, sweetheart.
And here's your ring from the cake.
Good for you, darling. I forgot all about it.
She puts the ring back on.
Well, time to go, then.
I planned some games.
You want me to stay?
It would help.
And then I'll stay.
Into the living room now, children, for some games.
What game?
Oh, all kinds of games. Blind man's buff, pin the tail on the donkey.
Yay!
Woo! Woo!
The children run noisily off. Peggy begins putting the mess back on the tray.
I'll get them started.
Would you, while I perpetuate Roberta?
Yeah, I'll be the donkey.
Oh, stop.
I'll be the ass.
Stop or I'll scream.
He is about to kiss her over the tray when Winky appears at the door. They break away.
Come on, Mummy, we're waiting.
We're coming, dear.
Winky disappears into the hall. Ted and Peggy go off different ways as a grandfather enters from the hall. He is about 80. He sits at the head of the table and begins to read the paper as a maid, Dora, comes out of the kitchen and begins to set a place in front of him. After a moment, his grandson, Nick, breathlessly appears in the doorway from the hall. He is about 13 or 14.
Grandpa,
Which one are you?
I'm Nick, Grandpa.
And what do you want?
To have lunch with you, Grandpa.
Then you're late.
I went down to the club.
Who said I'd be at the club?
My parents. My parents said you always eat there.
Lately, I've been coming home.
Yes, sir.
Don't know half the people to the club anymore. Rather be here at my own table. Dora, take care of me. Dora takes care of me, don't you, Dora? Dora. Where'd you go? Well, she usually does.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, you tracked me down anyway. That shows some enterprise. Bring him some lunch, Dora.
Yes, sir.
She goes out. Nick sitting opposite him at the other end of the table.
Thank you, Graham.
And you're Nick, eh?
Yes, I am.
You're the one who wants to go to Europe this summer.
No, that's Mary. That's my cousin.
You're the one who wants the automobile. Says he can't go to college without an automobile.
No, that's my brother Tony, Graham.
What do you want then?
Oh, I don't really want.
Everybody who sits down wants something. It's usually money. Do you want money?
Yes, sir.
For what?
My education, Graham.
Education, eh? That's a good thing. It can be. Doesn't have to be. Can be a bad thing. Where do you want to be educated?
St. Luke's School in Litchfield, Connecticut.
Never heard of it.
It's an excellent boarding school for boys.
Is it Catholic?
I don't think so, Graham.
Sounds Catholic to me.
I think it's high Episcopalian, Graham.
Then it's expensive.
My parents think it's a first-rate school, Graham.
I think.
They've discussed all the boarding schools and decided that this is the best.
They decided, huh?
Yes, sir.
And they decided you should get your grandfather to pay for it.
Yes, sir.
Dora has returned and set a placemat and a plate for Nick.
Another one leaving the nest, Dora.
Yes, sir.
She waits by the sideboard.
Taking a piece of the nest egg.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you stay home?
Me?
Yes.
Well, because I want to broaden myself.
You know what?
I want to broaden my horizons. My horizons need broadening.
I see.
And I'll meet interesting new friends.
Don't you have any interesting friends here?
Oh, sure, Graham.
I do. I have interesting friends right here. I know a man who makes boats in his basement.
But
I know a man who plays golf with his wife.
I meet different types, Graham. From all over the country, New York, California.
Why would you want to meet anyone from New York?
Well, they're more sophisticated, Graham. They'll buff me up.
The what?
My mother says I need buffing up.
Do you think he needs buffing up, Dora?
No, sir.
Dora doesn't think you need buffing up. I think you need buffing up. Better give us better reasons.
Oh, they have advanced Latin there.
I see, and
And an indoor hockey rink.
yes, and
And beautiful grounds of surroundings.
don't we have beautiful surroundings? Why do we have to go away to have a beautiful surroundings?
I don't know, Graham. All I know is everyone's going away these days.
Everyone's going away. Hear that, Dora? Everyone's going away.
An awful lot of people are going away.
Go away.
I know, Graham.
Didn't even go to Country Day. Went to the old PS36 down on Erin Street.
Yes, Graham.
Didn't finish either. Father died. Had to go to work. Had to support my mother.
I know that, Graham.
My father didn't go to school at all. Learned Greek at the plow.
You told us, Graham.
Yes, well, yeah, I didn't do too badly without a high Episcopal boarding school and an indoor hockey rink.
But you're a self-made man, Graham.
Oh, is that what I am? And what are you? Don't want to be self-made? Or do you want other people to make you, huh? Huh? What do you got to say to that?
I don't know.
Everybody wants to go away. Me, I went twice. I took 2 vacations in my life. First vacation, I took a week off from work to marry your grandmother. Went to Hot Springs, Virginia. Bought this table. Second vacation, Europe, 1928. Again, with your grandmother. Hated the place. Knew I would. Miserable meals. Took a truckload of shredded wheat along. Came back when it ran out. Back at this table. They're leaving us, Dora. Scattering like birds.
Yes, sir.
We're small potatoes these days.
Yes, sir.
This one wants to go to one of those fancy New England boarding schools. He wants to play ice hockey indoors with a crowd from Long Island and Philadelphia. He'll come home with marbles in his mouth and we won't understand a word, Dora.
Yes, sir.
And we won't see much of him, Dora. He'll go visiting in New York and Baltimore. He'll drink liquor in the afternoon and get mixed up with women, wear lipstick and trousers and hose only. Though it is the next dance. And he wants me to pay for it all. Am I right?
No, Graham. No, I don't. I don't want to go. Really. I never wanted to go. I want to stay home with all of you.
Finish the greens. They're good for your lower intestine.
They eat silently. From the right, a man named Paul enters. He's in his mid-30s and wears an open shirt. He starts carefully examining the dining room chairs along the left wall, one by one, turning them upside down, testing their strength.
No, you go. You've got to go. I'll send you to St. Whoosies and Betsy to Miss Whatsies and Young Annie, or whatever it's called. Mary can go to Europe in the summer, and Tony can have a car, and it's all fine and dandy. Go on. Enjoy yourself, all of you. Leave town, travel, see the world. Bound to happen. You know who's going to be sitting right here when you come back? I'll tell you who'll be sitting right here in this chair. Some Irish fella, some Jewish gentleman is going to be sitting at this table saying the same thing to his grandson, and your grandson will be back at the plow.
Starts out the door, stops, turns.
And come to think about it, that won't be such a bad thing either, will it, Dora?
No, sir.
He exits. Dora starts clearing off. Nick stands in the dining room.
Well, go on. Hurry. Bring him his checkbook before he falls asleep.
Nick hurries off, right. Dora goes off with plates left. Paul begins to check the table. A woman, about 40, call her Marjorie, appears in the hall doorway. She watches Paul.
What do you think?
Working over a chair.
You're in trouble.
Oh, dear. I knew it.
It's becoming unhinged.
I know the feeling.
Coming apart at the seams.
Do you think it's hopeless?
Let me check the table.
He crawls under the table.
It shakes very badly. I had a few friends over the other night, and every time we tried to cut our chicken, our water glasses started tinkling frantically, and the chairs cracked and groaned. It was like having dinner at Pompeii.
I'm checking the joints here.
It's all very sad. How things run down and fall apart. I used to tell my husband, my ex-husband, we have such lovely old things. We should oil them. We should wax them. We should keep them up. But of course, I couldn't do everything, and he wouldn't do anything. And now here you are to give us the coup de grace.
Hey, look at this.
What?
Look under here.
I don't dare.
I'm serious. Look.
Wait till I put on my glasses.
She puts on her glasses, which are hanging from a chain around her neck. Then she bends down discreetly.
Where? I can't see.
Under here, look. The support. See how loose this is?
I can't quite. Wait.
She gets down on her knees.
Oh, come on.
All right.
No,
She crawls under the table.
See, look at the support.
I see. It wiggles like mad.
They're both crawling under the table now.
And look over here. I'll have to put a whole new piece in over here. See, this is gone.
I see.
And excuse me, please. This pedestal is loose. Probably needs a new dowel. I'll have to ream it out and put in another.
Do you think so?
Oh, sure. In fact, your whole dining room needs to be re-screwed, re-glued, and renewed.
His little joke. He comes out from under.
Okay. Well, what's the matter?
I've never been under a table before.
Oh, yeah?
It's all just wood under here, isn't it?
Well, that's all it is.
I mean, you'd think a dining room table was something special, but it isn't. Underneath, it's all just wood. It's just a couple of big, wide boards.
Yeah, that's right.
What's this here?
What's what?
Well, you'll have to come back under here to see. There's some writing here, burned into the wood.
Where?
Right here. Freeman's Furniture, Wilkes Bar, Pennsylvania, 1898.
Oh, that's the manufacturer's mark.
1898?
That's what it says.
But that's not so old.
Well, not if it was made in 1898.
That's not old at all. It's not even an antique. It's just American.
Well, there's a lot of these things around. You know, they used to crank them out at the end of the 19th century.
Aren't I dumb? For years, we've been thinking it's terribly valuable.
Well, it is in a sense. It's well made. It's a solid, serviceable copy based on the English.
I'll be darned. You learn something every day.
They're both sitting side by side under the table. She looks at him.
You know a lot about furniture, don't you?
I'm beginning to.
Beginning to. I'll bet your father was a cabinet maker or something.
My father was a banker.
A banker?
I was a stockbroker, and until I got into this.
I don't believe it.
Well, sure. I decided I wanted to see what I was doing and touch it and see the results, so I took up carpentry.
I am amazed. I mean, I know some stockbrokers. Is this the support that's bad?
That's the one.
What if you put a nail in here?
not a nail, a screw.
All right, and another one over here, or at least some household cement.
Well, they have these epoxy glues now.
All right, and maybe cram a matchbook or something in here.
Well, not a matchbook.
A wedge, then. A wooden wedge.
That's a good idea.
See, I can do it too.
In her intensity, she has gotten very close to him physically. They both suddenly realize it and move away, crawling out from under the table on either side and brushing themselves off.
So, well, will you be taking the table away, or can you fix it here?
No, I can fix it here if you want.
Well, that might make more sense. And my husband used to ask for written estimates, materials, and labor.
Yeah, I'll write one up.
Suppose I helped on the labor.
I've never worked that way.
I should learn. I shouldn't be so helpless.
Okay. Wait, why not?
Besides, it's not an antique. If I make a mistake, it's not the end of the world, is it?
No, not at all.
When can we start?
Well, today. Now, if you want.
Then we have a partner. Then we're a partnership, aren't we? We should have a drink to celebrate.
No, okay.
From off stage right, we hear voices singing the Thanksgiving hymn. Come, ye thankful people, come.
What do we have? Something snappy like a martini?
No. I gave them up with the stock market. How about a beer?
Fine idea. Good solid beer. If I've got it.
They go off into the kitchen as Nancy, in her 30s, comes out carrying a stack of plates and a carving knife and fork. She calls back over her shoulder.
I got the plates, Miss Dorskull. You've got your hands full with that turkey.
She sets the plates and carving utensils at the head of the table and calls toward the hall.
We're ready, everybody. Come on in.
The singing continues as a family begins to come into the dining room to celebrate Thanksgiving dinner. The oldest son, Stuart, has his mother on his arm. She's very big, very old lady.
Now, Mother, I want you to sit next to me, and Fred, you sit on Mother's left, and Ben, you sit opposite her where she can see you. Nancy and Beth hold up that end of the table, and there we are.
Genial chatter as everyone sits down. The two sons push in their mother's chair. After a moment, the old lady stands up again, looks around distractedly.
I'm not sure where I am.
You're here, Mother, in your own dining room. This is your table and your chairs, and here's the china you got on your trip to England. And here's the silver-handled carving knife which Father used to use.
Oh, yes.
Genial laughter, ad-libbing. She's a little tired. It's been a long day. The old lady gets up again.
But who are these people? I'm not quite sure who these people are.
She begins to wander around the room.
It's me, Mother, Stuart, your son, and here's Fred and Ben and Nancy and Beth. We're all here, Mother.
Nancy going into the kitchen.
I'll go get the turkey. That might help her focus.
Yes. Mrs. Driscoll is here, Mother, right in the kitchen, where she always has been. And your grandchildren, all your grandchildren were here. Don't you remember? They ate first at the children's table, and now they're in the backyard playing touch football. You watched them, Mother.
He indicates the French doors.
Oh, yes.
She sits down again at the other end of the table.
Nancy comes out from the kitchen carrying a large platter.
Appropriate oohs and ahs from group.
Ooh.
And look, Mother, here's Nancy with the turkey. Put it right over there, Nancy. See, Mother? Isn't it a beautiful bird? And I'm going to carve it just the way Father did and give you a small piece of breast and just a dab of dressing, just as always, Mother.
He sharpens the carving knife officiously.
Just as always.
And Fred will have the drumstick. Am I right, Fred? And Beth gets the wishbone. And Ben ends up with the Pope's nose. Am I right, Ben?
Genial and good laughter.
Save some for Miss Driscoll.
I always do, Nancy. Mrs. Driscoll likes the second joint.
This is all very nice, but I think I'd like to go home.
You are home, Mother. You've lived here 52 years.
54.
Forever.
Ben, pass the plate down to Mother.
Oh, thank you very much, but I really do think it's time to go.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear.
Mother,
Will someone drive me home, please? I live at 18 Summer Street with my mother and sisters.
What will we do?
it's not there now, Mother. Don't you remember? We drove down. There's a big building there now.
Thank you very much for asking me. Thank you for having me to your house.
She begins to go around the table, thanking people.
Mother, I'm Fred, your son.
Oh, isn't that nice? Thank you. I've had a perfectly lovely time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
She shakes hands with Nancy.
It's been absolutely lovely. Thank you. Thank you.
Quickly, let's sing to her.
Ding.
She liked singing. We used to sing whenever she'd get upset. Fred, Ben, quickly, over here.
Now, I can't find my gloves. Where would my gloves be? I can't go out without my gloves.
What song? I can't remember any of the songs.
Oh, sure you can. Come on.
Sounds a note. The others try to find their parts.
I need my gloves. I need my hat.
As the blackbird in the spring.
Neath the willow tree,
Sad
pipe, I heard him sing.
singing of
Orly. That was
They
beautiful.
sing in pleasant, amateurish, corny harmony. The old lady stops fussing, turns her head, and listens. The other women remain at the table.
Orly, Orly, made of golden hair, sunshine came on the sea, and swallows in the air.
I love music. Every person in our family could play a different instrument.
She sits in a chair along the wall, down right.
She's going around. Quickly, that second verse.
Men singing with more confidence now, more daring harmony.
In
thy blood, the rose was born. Music when you say, to thine azure eyes the morn, sparkling seem to break.
Orally,
made of
golden hair.
Sunshine
Came
along
with thee, and
swallows
in the air.
I'll hold a long note at the end. The old lady claps. Everyone claps.
Well, that was absolutely lovely.
Thank you, Mother.
But now I've simply got to go home. Would you call my carriage, please? And someone find my hat and gloves. It's very late, and my mother gets very nervous if I'm not home in time for tea.
She heads for the hall.
Look, Fred, Ben will drive her down and show her everything. The new office complex, where her house was, the entrance to the throughway, the Howard Johnson's motel, everything. And she'll see that nothing is there at all.
I'll bring the car around.
I'll get her coat.
I'm coming too.
We'll just have to go through the motions.
The brothers hurry after their mother. Nancy and Beth are left alone on stage. Pause. Then they begin to stack the dishes.
That's scary.
I know it.
Suddenly feels so precarious.
It could happen to us all.
No, but it's as if we didn't exist, as if we're all just ghosts or something. Even her own sons. She walked right by them.
And guess who walked right by us?
Yes. Know what I'd like?
What?
A good stiff drink.
I'm with you.
I'll bet Miss Driscoll could use a drink too.
Bet she could.
Let's go out and ask her.
Mrs. Driscoll?
Let's.
Oh, all right.
Let's go and have a drink with Miss Driscoll and then dig into this turkey and help her with dishes and then figure out how to get through the rest of this goddamn day.
They go off into the kitchen. The table is clear. The dining room is empty. End of Act 1. Act 2. The dining room is empty. The light suggests that it is about 3 in the afternoon. After a moment, a girl's voice is heard off right from the front hall.
Mom, anybody home?
Silence.
See, I told you. She isn't here.
Sarah appears in the doorway with Helen behind her.
Where is she?
She works at a bouquet 4 days a week. 4 days a week. And my father's away on a business in Atlanta or Denver. Somewhere, anywhere. Come on, I'll show you where they keep the liquor.
My mom's always there when I get home from school. Always.
Bummer.
And if she isn't, my grandmother comes in.
The liquor's in the pantry.
Sarah goes out through dining room door left. Helen stays in the dining room.
Oh, hey, neato.
What?
This room.
That's our dining room.
I know, but it's viciously nice.
Sarah coming out of the kitchen carrying 2 bottles.
Which do you want, gin or vodka?
You decide.
Well, there's more gin, so less chance they'll notice.
Gin, then.
But the reason there's more gin is that I put water in it last week.
Vodka, then.
Tell you what, I'll mix a little of both.
Ew.
Okay. Do you use this room?
Oh, sure.
Special occasions, huh? When the relatives come to visit?
Every night.
Every night?
Well, at least every night they're both home.
Really?
Oh, sure. Whenever they're home, my father insists that we all eat in the dining room at 7 o'clock. Here.
And Helen her drink.
Here, gin and vodka and Fresca. The boys are bringing the pot.
It must be nice eating here.
Oh, yeah, sure. You bet. We have to lug these things out and lug these things back, and nobody can begin till everything's cold, and we're supposed to carry on a decent conversation, and everyone has to finish before anyone can get up, and it sucks. And if you want to know, it sucks out loud.
You drink.
We eat in the kitchen.
Can you watch TV while you eat?
We used to. We used to watch the local news and weather.
That's something. At least you don't have to talk.
But now we can't watch it. My mother read in Family Circle that TV was bad at meals. So now we turn on the stereo and listen to semi-classical music.
My parents said they tried eating in the kitchen when I went to boarding school, but when I got kicked out, they moved back in here. It's supposed to give me some sense of stability.
Do you think it does?
Shit, no. It makes me more nervous. They take the telephone off the hook so no one can call. My brother gets itchy about his homework, and when my sister has anorexia, she still had to sit here and watch. For God's sake, and my parents spend most of the meal bitching, and the whole thing that bites, Helen, it really bites. It bites the big one. Want another?
Oh, no, thanks.
I do. You call the boys and tell them it's all clear.
She goes back into the kitchen.
Sarah,
What?
when the boys come over, can we have our drinks in here?
Kate, a woman in her mid-40s, comes out. She carries a small tray containing a teapot, 2 cups, sugar, and creamer. She sits at the table and watches the teapot.
In the dining room?
I mean, wouldn't it be cool sitting around this shiny table with Eddie and Dwayne drinking gin and Fresca and vodka?
No way. Absolutely not. In here? I'll get all uptight in here.
She heads for the hall.
Now come on, let's call them.
Helen starts after her.
Having boys in the dining room. Jesus, Helen, you really are a wimp sometimes.
They go out. Right. Helen looking back over her shoulder at the dining room.
I'm in here, Gordon. I made tea.
Gordon comes in from the hall. He is about her age. He's buttoning his shirt, carrying his jacket and tie slung over his shoulder.
Tea.
Tea.
Why tea?
Because I like it. I love it. Or would you like a drink?
No thanks.
Go ahead. Don't worry about me. I'm all over that. We even have it in the house, and I never touch it.
No thanks, Kate.
Then have tea. It's very good. It's Earl Grey.
I ought to be getting back.
Gordon, please. Have tea.
All right.
Thank you.
She begins to pour him a cup.
Tea in the dining room.
Where else? Should we huddle guiltily over the kitchen table?
No.
Then tea in the dining room. What would you like? Lemon or milk?
Whatever.
Gordon.
Milk then, no sugar.
Milk it is.
She hands him a cup.
Oh, sit down, for heaven's sake.
Not
Thought I
sitting.
heard a sound.
Oh, really? And what sound did you hear? A distant lawnmower? A faulty burglar alarm?
Thought I heard a car.
What? A car? On this godforsaken street? Should we rush to the window, cheer, wave flags?
Go easy, Kate.
Well, I doubt very much that you heard a car.
Stop.
The sound?
The car stopped.
All right, Gordon, you heard a car stop. But it's not Ed's car, is it? Because Ed, as you and I well know, is in Amsterdam or Rotterdam or who gives a damn? Until next Tuesday. Now sit down, please. Let's have tea. For heaven's sake.
He
Now,
sits on the edge of his chair.
when can we meet again?
Jumps up.
I heard a car door slam.
Oh, really? That's because cars have doors. And people, when they get really frustrated, feel like slamming them.
I'm going.
Oh, really? I see how it is. A quick tumble with the bored wife of your best friend.
Someone's at the door.
No, no one's.
Yes, someone with a key.
Kate jumps up. They listen.
Now you've got to stay.
Gordon quickly puts on his coat. A boy's voice is heard calling from the hall.
Hey, Mom!
Lord help us.
I'm home, Mom!
Now you've got to have tea.
Mom?
We're in the dining room, dear.
Chris slides into view from the right. He is about 17, carries a duffel bag. Kate goes to him effusively.
Darling, how'd you get here?
I took a cab from the bus station.
Kate embraces him. He looks at Gordon.
You look marvelous, taller than ever. Say hello to Uncle Gordon.
Hi, Chris. Welcome home.
Hi.
What's this? Is this what they teach you at Deerfield? Not to shake hands? Not to call people by their name?
Hello, Uncle Gordon.
They shake hands.
Hi, Chris.
But what brings you home, my love? I expected you Saturday.
I got honors.
Honors?
Yeah, you get out 2 days early if you get over an 85 average.
But then you should have telephoned.
I wanted to surprise you.
I ought to go.
Nonsense. Have more tea. Chris, would you like some tea? I was taking a nap and Gordon stopped by and we thought we'd have tea. Have some tea, dear. Or a Coke. Have a Coke. Or shall I get you a beer? How about a beer for a big boy who gets honors?
No thanks.
I'd really better go.
You won't have more tea?
And sorry.
All right, then. Goodbye.
Shaking hands with her stiffly.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Chris.
Tries to shake hands with Chris. Chris turns away.
Goodbye.
Gordon goes quickly, right. Kate starts to put the tea things back on the tray.
He wanted to talk to me about stocks. I inherited some stocks he thinks I should sell, and so he stopped by. And
Where's Dad?
he's in Europe. Darling, as I think I wrote you, he'll be home Tuesday.
No.
She starts for the
Mom.
kitchen with the tray.
Mom.
Stops, turns.
And what does that mean, pray tell? Oh, Mom. I'd like to know, please, what that means. I happen to be having tea, Christopher. It happens to be a very old custom. Your grandmother used to have tea at this very table with this same china every afternoon. All sorts of people would stop by all the time. I'd come home from school and there she'd be, serving tea. That's a delightful old custom, sweetheart. Where are you going? I asked you a question. Please, we don't just walk away.
Chris walks out of the room. A young man named Tony comes in from the kitchen, decked out with a camera and various pieces of photographic equipment. He begins to test the room with his light meter.
Chris, I am talking to you. I am talking to you, and I am your mother. And the least you can do is...
She follows him out into the hall, still carrying the tray. Tony finds an area by a chair which pleases him.
Would you mind setting up over here, Aunt Harriet? I want to get you in the late afternoon light.
Aunt Harriet, a woman of about 60, appears at the kitchen door carrying another tray, glittering with old china and crystal.
Certainly, Tony.
She goes to where he indicates, puts down her tray, and begins to set a place at the table.
No, I thought I used the Irish linen place mat with the matching napkin that my husband, who was it, your great uncle, inherited from his sister. They have to be washed and ironed by hand every time they're used.
She places the placemat. He photographs it.
And then, of course, the silver, which was given to us as a wedding present by your great-grandmother. You see 3-pronged forks, pistol-handled knives, spoons with rat-tail back, all Williamsburg pattern. This should be polished at least every 2 weeks.
She sets a place as he photographs each item. She becomes more and more at home with the camera.
And then this is the Stanford Shrine, as is the butter plate. All of this is bone. The wine glasses are early stupin, but the goblets and the finger bowls are both water-forward. None of this goes in the dishwasher, of course. It's all far too delicate for those detergents.
The place is all set. She surveys it proudly.
Finger bowls?
Oh, yes. Our side of the family always used finger bowls between salad and dessert.
Would you show me how they worked?
Certainly, dear.
He continues to snap pictures of her as she talks.
You see, the maid would take away the salad plate like this.
She put the plate on side to her right.
And then she'd put down the finger bowls in front of us like this.
She does.
Then would be filled approximately halfway with cool water. And there might be a little rose floating in it or a sliver of lemon. Now, of course, we'd have our napkins on our laps like this.
She sits down, shakes out her napkin, puts it discreetly in her lap.
And then we dip our fingers in the bowl and gently, and then we'd wiggle them and shake them out. And then dab them on our napkins and then dab our lips. Then, of course, the maids would take them away.
She moves the finger bowl aside.
And in would come a nice sherbet or chocolate mousse.
She beams at the camera. At last, used to it, he snaps her picture.
Thanks, Aunt Harriet. That was terrific.
He begins to pack up his photographic gear.
You're welcome. Now, Tony, dear, tell me again, what is all this for? I didn't quite understand our telephone call.
This is a classroom project for Amherst.
Oh, a project.
She stands up.
In what, pray tell?
Anthropology, actually.
Anthropology, heavens.
She starts to return items to her tray.
What does this have to do with this?
Well, you see, we're studying the eating habits of various vanishing cultures. For example, someone is talking about the Kikiyus of northern Kenya, and my roommate is doing the Cree Indians of Saskatchewan. And my professor suggested I do a slideshow on us.
Us?
The wasps of northeastern United States.
I see.
You learn a lot about a culture from how it eats.
Such as what?
Well, consider the finger bowls, for example. There you have an almost neurotic obsession with cleanliness, reflecting the guilt which comes with the last stages of capitalism. Or notice the unnecessary accumulation of glass in China and the compulsion to display it, or the subtle hint of aggression in those pistol-handled knives.
I think I'll have to ask you to leave, Tony.
And Harriet?
I was going to invite you to stay for a cocktail, but now I won't.
Please, Aunt Harriet.
He begins
Out.
to gather up his equipment.
Out right now before I telephone long distance to your mother.
Tony backs towards the hallway.
Vanishing culture, my eye, I forbid you to mention my name in classroom or show one glimpse of my personal property. And you can tell the professor of yours I've got a good mind to drive up to Amherst with his pistol-handled butter knife in the beside me and cut off his anthropological balls.
Tony runs hurriedly from the room. Harriet returns to her tray proudly and carries it back to the kitchen. As she goes, an older man named Jim comes in from the hall, followed by his daughter, Meg. He is in his late 60s. She is about 30.
Where are you going now, Daddy?
I think your mother might want a drink.
She's reading to the children.
That's why she might want one. Yeah.
She wants no such thing, Dad.
Well, then I want one.
Now it's not even 5.
Well, then let's go see how the Red Sox are doing.
She starts back out. Right.
Daddy, stop.
Well, stop what?
Avoiding me. Ever since I arrived, we haven't been able to talk.
Ah, good Lord. What do you mean? Seems to me everybody's been talking continuously and simultaneously from the moment you got off the plane.
Alone, Daddy. I mean alone, and you know I mean alone.
All right. We'll talk.
Sits down.
Right here in the dining room. It's a good place to talk. Why not? Matter of fact, I'm kind of tired. It's been a long day.
I love this room. I've always loved it. Always.
Your mother and I, we still use it, now and then. Once a week, Mrs. Robinson still comes in and cooks us a nice dinner, and we have it in here. It's still lamb chops, broilers.
I've left him, Daddy.
Oh, well, now a little vacation,
I've left him permanently.
Yes, well, permanently, it's a very long word.
I can't live with him, Dad. We don't get along at all.
Well, you may think that now,
Could we live here, Dad?
Here?
For a few months.
With 3 small children?
While I work out my life.
Jim takes out a pocket watch and looks at it.
What time is it? A little after 5. I think the sun is over yard arm, and don't you? Or if it isn't, it should be, right? I think it's almost permissible for you and I to let's see, have a little drink. You and I, Meg.
Can we stay here, Dad?
Hey, make us a drink, Maggie.
All right.
She goes into the kitchen. The door, of course, remains open.
I'd like a scotch, sweetheart. Make it, reasonably strong. You'll find the silver measuring gizmo in the door by the trays. I want 2 shots and a splash of water. I like to use that big glass with the pheasants on it. And not too much ice.
All right.
I saw Mimi Mott the other day. Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Dad.
Well, there she was. Being a very good sport with her third husband. Her third, who was deaf as a post and extremely disagreeable. So I took her aside. Can you hear me?
I'm listening, Dad.
So I took her aside and I said, "Now, Mimi, tell me the truth. If you had made half as much effort with your first husband as you made with the last 2, do you think that you'd still be married to him?" I asked her that, point blank, and what Mimi said. She said, "Maybe." That's exactly what she said, maybe. She had made the effort. I can't.
Meg returns with 2 glasses. She gives one to Jim.
That's your generation, Dad.
No. That's every generation.
It's not mine.
Every generation has to make an effort.
I won't go back to him, Dad. I want to be here.
I wanted the glass with the pheasants on it. You know that.
I think the kids used it.
Yeah.
So, can we stay, Dad?
I I sleep in your room now. Your mother kicked me out because I snore. And we use the boys' rooms now to watch TV, you know.
I'll use the guest room.
Well, and the children?
They can sleep on the 3rd floor in the maids' rooms.
Well, no. We close them off because of, you know, the oil bills.
I don't care, Dad. We'll work it out, please.
Pause. He sits down at the other end of the table.
Just give it another try first.
No.
Another try. I know.
He's got someone else now, Dad. She's living there right now. She's moved in.
Then go fly back and you kick her out.
Oh, Dad.
I'm serious. You don't know this, but that's what your mother did. One time I became romantically involved with Mrs. Shoemaker. We took, you know, a little trip together to Sea Island. Your mother got wind of it and she came right down and told Betty Shoemaker to get on the next train. You know, that's all there was to it. Now, why don't you do that? You know, go tell this woman to peddle her papers elsewhere. We'll sit with the children while you do.
I've got someone else too, Dad.
So you mean you've got another fling?
I've been going with someone.
You know, a little fling.
I've been living with him.
Where was your husband?
He stayed with his girl.
Okay, where and your children?
Oh, they came and went.
It sounds just a little complicated.
It is, Dad. That's why I needed to come home.
Now, okay, let's review the bidding, may we? Do you plan to marry this new man?
No.
Wait, so you're not in love with him?
No. He's already married anyway.
Okay, and he's already decided that he loves his wife?
No.
Okay, but you decided that you don't love him?
Yes.
Okay, or your husband?
Yes.
Okay, and your husband's fallen in love with someone else?
He lives with someone else.
And your children? My grandchildren come and go, these, you know, these various households.
Yes. Sort of. Yes.
It sounds extremely just complicated.
It is, Dad. It really is.
Pause. He drinks, thinks, gets up, paces.
Well then, okay. It seems to me the first thing you need to do is simplify things. Right. That's the first thing. You ask the man you're living with to leave. You sue your husband for divorce. You hold on to your house. You keep the children, and you keep the children in your present schools.
There's someone else, Dad.
Someone else?
someone else entirely.
Wait, so a third person.
Yes.
Okay, so what was that movie that your mother and I liked so much? The third man.
He sits down, left.
It's not a man, Dad.
It's not a man.
It's a woman.
A woman?
I've been involved with a woman, Dad, but it's not working, and I don't know who I am, and I've got to touch base. Daddy, I want to be here.
She kneels at his feet. Pause. Jim gets slowly to his feet. He points to his glass.
I think I'll get a repair. Would you like a repair? Here. I'll take your glass. I'll get us both repairs.
He takes her glass and goes out to the kitchen, leaving the door open.
I'm all mixed up, Dad. I'm all over the ballpark. I've been seeing a crisis counselor, and I've taken a part-time job, and I've been jogging 2 miles a day, and none of it's working, Dad. I want to come home. I want to take my children to the zoo and the park and lake and the art gallery and do all those things you and Mother used to do with all of us. I want to start again, Dad. I want to start all over again.
Jim comes out from the kitchen, now carrying 3 glasses.
I made one for your mother. I found the glass with the pheasants on it, Yeah, in the trash. Somebody broke it. He
Crosses for the doorway, right?
Okay, so let's have a nice cocktail while with your mother and see if we can get the children to sit quietly while we do.
You don't want us here, do you, Dad?
Joe, no. Of course we do, darling. A week, 10 days, you're most welcome.
I can't go back, Dad.
Neither can I, sweetheart, neither can I.
He shuffles on out. Meg stands for a moment in the dining room, then hurries out after him as Emily, a woman about 35, comes in and looks at the table.
I don't know whether to eat or not.
Her son David comes in. He's about 14.
What's the trouble, Mother?
I don't know whether to eat or not. Your father and I were sitting in this living room having a perfectly pleasant cocktail together when all of a sudden this stupid telephone rang, and now he's holed up in the bedroom talking away.
She closes the kitchen door.
Who's he talking to?
I don't know. I don't even know. I think it's someone from the club.
Claire, her daughter, comes on. She's about 16.
Are we eating or not?
I simply don't know.
Bertha, the maid, sticks her head out of the kitchen door.
I don't know whether to go ahead or not. Bertha, Mr. Thatcher is still on the head telephone.
Can we at least start the soup?
I don't know. I just don't know. Oh, let's wait 5 minutes, Bertha.
Yes, miss.
Bertha disappears. Emily, David, and Claire sit down.
Honestly, that telephone, I could wring its neck. It should be banned. It should be outlawed between 6 and 8 in the evening.
The father comes in hurriedly from the hall. His name is Standish.
I've got to go.
Go? Go where?
Out.
Bertha comes in with the soup tureen.
You mean you can't even sit down and have some of Bertha's nice celery soup?
I can't even finish my cocktail. Something very bad has happened.
Bertha, would you mind very much putting the soup back in the saucepan and keeping it on a low flame? We'll call you when we're ready.
Yes, Mrs.
Bertha goes out. Standish takes Emily aside, downstage.
Now, what on earth is the matter?
Henry was insulted down at the club.
Insulted?
Uncle Henry?
Binky Byers made a remark to him in the steam bath.
Oh, no.
What did he say, Dad?
Yes, what did he say?
I believe he was speaking to your mother. I was speaking to your mother. Binky made a remark, and apparently a number of the newer members laughed. Poor Henry was so upset he had to put his clothes on and leave. He called me from Mother's.
Oh, no, oh, no.
I telephoned the club. I spoke to several people who had been in the steam bath. They confirmed the incident. I asked to speak to Binky Byers. He refused to come to the phone. And so I've got to do something about it.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Won't you tell us what he said to Uncle Henry, Dad?
I will not. I will not dignify the remark by repeating it.
Oh, come on, Dad. We're not babies.
Yes, Standish, really.
He said, Claire, I want you to leave the room.
Why? I'm older.
Yes, she should know. Everybody should know. These are different times. We're not quite ready yet, Bertha.
Oh, yes, Mrs.
She goes back in.
Now go on, Standish. Be frank. This is a family.
Mr. Byers made an unfortunate remark having to do with your Uncle Henry's private life.
The children don't get it.
I'm afraid you have to be more specific, dear.
Mr. Byers, who had obviously been drinking since early afternoon, approached Uncle Henry in the steam bath and alluded in very specific terms to his personal relationships.
What personal relationships?
His associates in the outside world.
I don't get it.
Darling, Mr. Byers must have made some unnecessary remarks about your Uncle's Henry's bachelor attachments.
You mean Uncle Henry is a fruit?
I won't have that word in this house.
I was just...
He got it from school, dear.
I don't care if you got it from God. I will not have it in this house. The point is my own brother was wounded at his club.
But what can you do, dear?
Go down there.
To your mother's?
To the club. I'll demand a public apology from Binky in front of the entire grill.
But what if he won't even come to the telephone?
I'll have to fight him.
Oh, Standish.
I have to.
Oh, Daddy!
I can't let the remark stand.
Can I come with you, Dad?
You may not. I want you home with your mother.
He starts for the door.
Standish, for heaven's sake.
No arguments, please.
But Binky Byers is half your age and twice your size.
It makes no difference.
I think he was on the boxing team at Dartmouth.
No difference whatsoever.
What about your bad shoulder? What about your hernia?
I'm sorry. I imagine I shall be seriously hurt, but I can't stand idly by.
Oh, Daddy, please don't go.
Bertha comes out of the kitchen.
The lamb will be overdone, Mrs.
And it's a beautiful lamb, Standish.
Now listen to me, all of you.
Bertha has been heading back to the kitchen.
And you too, Bertha.
He points toward a chair on the side. Bertha crosses as everyone watches her. She sits on the edge of the chair. Everyone turns back to Standish.
There is nothing I'd rather do in this world than sit down at this table with all of you and have some of Bertha's fine celery soup, followed by a leg of lamb with mint sauce and roast potatoes. Am I right about the sauce and potatoes, Bertha?
Yes, sir.
There is nothing I'd rather have than that, but I have to forego it. My brother has been publicly insulted at his club, and that means our family has been insulted. And when the family has been insulted, that means this table, these chairs, this room, and all of us in it, including you, Bertha, are being treated with scorn. And so if I stayed here, if I sat down with all of you now, I wouldn't be able to converse. I wouldn't be able to laugh. I wouldn't be able to correct your grammar. David, I wouldn't be able to enjoy your fine meal, Bertha. I wouldn't even be able to kiss my handsome wife goodbye.
He kisses her. It's a passionate kiss.
Goodbye, dear.
Goodbye, darling.
He kisses Claire.
Goodbye, Winkins.
Bye, Daddy.
He shakes hands
Goodbye,
with
David.
David.
Goodbye, David.
So long, Dad. Good luck.
Thank you very much indeed.
He goes out.
Of course, we can't eat now. Bertha, have something yourself and let people raid the icebox later on.
No, yes, Mrs.
And the children can have lamb hash on Saturday.
Yes, Mrs.
She goes off.
David, you and I will drive down to the club and wait for the outcome in the visitors' lounge.
Okay, Mother.
So get a book. Get a good book. Get Ivanhoe. We could be quite a while.
Okay.
He goes out.
And Claire, I want you to stay here and hold the fort.
All right, Mother.
Get on the telephone to Dr. Russell. I don't care whether he's having dinner or in the operating room. Tell him to be at the club to give your father first aid.
All right, Mother.
And then study your French.
All right, Mother.
She starts out, then stops.
Mother.
What, for heaven's sakes?
Is it true about Uncle Henry?
Well, it may be, sweetheart. We don't say it to him. You don't say it at the club. And don't say it within a 10-mile radius of your father. Now, goodbye.
Emily rushes off. Right. Followed by Claire. An old man and his middle-aged son come on from the right. The old man is Harvey. His son is Dick. The light is dim in the dining room now, except downstage by the French windows.
We'll talk in here. Nobody will disturb us. Nobody comes near a dining room anymore. The thought of sitting down with a number of intelligent, attractive people to enjoy good food, well cooked and properly served, that apparently doesn't occur to people anymore. Nowadays, people eat in the kitchen or in the living room, standing around, balancing their plates like jugglers. Soon they'll be eating in the bathroom. Well, why not simplify the process considerably?
Sit down somewhere, some pop.
Coming well downstage, pulling a chair down away from the table.
I'll sit here. We can look out. There's a purple finch who comes to the theater every evening. Brings his young.
Dick pulls up a chair beside him. Behind, in the dim light, 3 women begin to set the table, this time for an elaborate dinner. A great white tablecloth, candles, flowers, the works. The process should be reverential, quiet, and muted, not to distract from the scene downstage. Harvey taking an envelope from his inside pocket.
No, I want to go over my funeral with you.
Pop.
I want to do it There are only a few more apples left in the barrel for me.
You've been saying that for years now, Pop.
Well, this time it's true. So I want to go over this. You're my eldest son. I can't do it with anyone else. Your mother starts to cry, your brother isn't here, and your sister gets distracted. So concentrate, please, on my future.
All right, Pop.
Harvey taking out a typewritten document.
First, here is my obituary. For both newspapers, I've dictated it to Miss Krovat down at the office. I've read it over twice, and it's what I want. It's thorough without being self-congratulatory. I mention my business, my career, my civic commitments, and of course my family. I even touch on my recreational life. I give my lowest score in golf and the weight of my sailfish I caught off the keys. The papers will want to cut both items, but don't let them.
Okay, Pop.
I also want to print this picture.
He shows it.
It was taken when I was elected to the chair of the Symphony Drive. I think it will do. I don't look too young to die, nor do I look so old it won't make a difference.
All right, Pop.
Harvey fussing with other documents.
Now, I want my funeral service announced at the end of the obituary and to occur 3 days later. That will give people enough time to postpone their other trips and adjust their golf game. And I want it at 3:30 in the afternoon. This gives people enough time to digest their lunch and doesn't obligate us to feed them dinner. Notice I've underlined the word church. Mr. Fairweather might try to squeeze the service into the chapel, but don't let him. I've lived in this city all my life. I know a great many people, and I want everyone to have a seat and to feel comfortable. If you see people milling about the door, go right up to them and find a place. Even if you have to use folding chairs. Are we clear on that?
Yes, Pop.
By now, the table has been mostly set behind them. The women have gone.
I've listed the following works to be played by Mrs. Manchester on the organ. This Bach, this Handel, this Schubert, all lively, you'll notice. Nothing gloomy, nothing grim. I want the service to start prompt with a good, rousing hymn. Onward, Christian soldiers. And then Fairweather may say something brief, underlined brief, remarks about my life and works. Do you plan to get up and speak, by the way?
Me?
You. Do you plan to say?
I hadn't thought, Pop.
Don't. If you don't want to. There's nothing more uncomfortable than a reluctant or unwilling speaker. On the other hand, if you, as my eldest son, were to get on your feet and say a few words of farewell...
Of course I will, Pop.
Good. Then I'll write you in.
He writes.
Brief remarks by my son Richard. Any idea what you might say?
No, Pop.
You won't make it sentimental, will you? Brad Hoffmeister's son got up the other day and made some very sentimental remarks about Brad. I didn't like it, and I don't think Brad would have liked it.
I won't get sentimental, Pop.
Good.
Shuffles documents. Looks up again.
On the other hand, you won't make any wisecracks, will you?
Pop.
You have that tendency, Dick. At Marcy's wedding and your brother's birthday, you got up and made some very flip remarks about us.
I'm sorry, Pop.
Smart guy stuff. Too smart, in my opinion. If you plan on getting into that sort of thing, perhaps it's best you not say anything at all.
I won't make any cracks, Pop. I promise.
Thank you.
Looks at documents. Looks up again.
Because you love us, don't you?
Yes, Pop.
You love us. You may live 1,000 miles away. You may have run off every summer. You may have been a terrible letter writer, but you love us all just the same, don't you?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Pop. Yes. Really, really. Yes, Pop.
Fine.
Puts his glasses on again, shuffles through documents.
Now, at my graveside, just the family, I want to be buried alongside my brother and beside my brothers and below my mother and father. Leave room for your mother to lie beside me. If she marries again, still leave room. She'll come back at the end.
All right, Pop.
Invite the people back here after the burial. Stay close to your mother. She gets nervous at any kind of gathering and makes bad decisions. For example, don't let her serve any of the good Beefeater's gin. If people want to mix it with tonic water, simply, hold on, let me repeat that, because this is important. For example, don't let her serve any of the good Beefeater's gin if people simply want to mix it with tonic water.
Yep.
And when they're gone, sit with her. Stay in the house.
Yeah.
Don't leave for a few days, please.
I promise, Pop. I promise.
Annie, the maid from the first scene, now quite old, adds candlesticks and a lovely flower centerpiece to the table. Harvey puts documents back in the envelope.
And that's my funeral. I'm leaving you this room. You know, after your mother dies, the table and the chairs to you. It's the best thing I can leave you by far.
Thanks, Pop.
Annie exits into the kitchen.
Now we'll rejoin your mother.
He gets slowly to his feet.
I'll put this envelope in my safe deposit box on top of my will and the stock certificate. The key will be on my left bureau drawer.
He starts out, then stops.
You didn't see the purple finch feeding its young.
Yep. Yes, I did, Pop.
You saw it while I was talking?
Yeah, that's right.
Good. I'm glad you saw it.
He goes out slowly. Dick waits a moment, lost in thought, and then replaces the chairs. The lights come up on the table, now beautifully set with white linen, crystal goblets, silver candlesticks, flowers, the works. Annie begins to set plates as a hostess. Ruth comes in from the right.
Oh, Annie, it looks absolutely spectacular.
Thank you, miss.
Ruth, as she begins to distribute place cards carefully around the table.
Now make sure the soup plates are hot.
I always do, miss.
But I think we can dispense with butterballs. Just give everyone a nice square of butter.
I'll do butterballs, miss.
Would you? Oh, nice. And keep an eye on the ashtrays. Annie, some people still smoke between courses, but they don't like to be reminded of it.
I know, miss.
And let's see. Oh, yes. Before people arrive, I want to pay you.
She produces 2 envelopes from the sideboard.
For you. And for Velma in the kitchen. It includes your taxi, so you can both just leave right after you've cleaned up.
Thank you, miss.
There's a little extra in yours, Annie. Just a present. Because you've been so helpful to the family over the years.
Thank you, miss.
And now I'd better check the living room.
Yes, miss.
Ruth starts out, right, then stops.
Oh, Annie, I heard some strange news through the grapevine.
Annie looks at her.
Mrs. Relman told me that you won't be available anymore.
No, miss.
Not even for us, Annie. We've used you more than anyone.
I'm retiring, miss.
But surely special occasions. Annie, I mean, if we're desperate, can I still reach you at your nephew's?
He's moving, miss.
But then where will you go? What will you do?
I've got my sister in Milwaukee, miss.
But we'll be lost without you, Annie.
You'll manage, miss.
But not like this. We'll never
Thank-
match this.
Thank you, miss.
I think I heard the bell.
I'll get it, miss.
Women's coats upstairs, men's in the hall closet.
Yes, miss.
She starts out.
Annie!
Annie stops. Ruth goes to her and hugs her. Annie responds stiffly.
Thank you, Annie, for everything.
You're welcome, miss.
She goes off right to answer the door. Ruth goes to the sideboard, gets a book of matches. She lights the 2 candles on the table as she speaks to the audience.
Lately, I've been having this recurrent dream. We're giving this perfect party. We have our dining room back and grandmother's silver before it was stolen, and Charlie's mother's royal blue dinner plates before the movers dropped them, and even the finger bowls, if I knew where they were. And I've invited all of our favorite people. Oh, I don't mean just our old friends. I mean everyone we've ever known and liked. We'd have the man who fixes our Toyota, and that intelligent young couple who bought the Peyton house, and the receptionist at the doctor's office, and the new teller at the bank, and our children would be invited too. And they'd all come back from wherever they are, and we'd have 2 cocktails, and hot hors d'oeuvres, and a first-rate cook in the kitchen, and 2 maids to serve, and everyone would get along famously.
The candles are lit by now.
My husband laughs when I tell him this dream. Do you realize, he says, what a party like that would cost? Do you realize what we'd have to pay these days for a party like that? Well, I know. I know all of that. But sometimes I think it might almost be worth it.
The rest of the cast now spills into the dining room, talking animatedly, having a wonderful time. There is the usual gallantry and jockeying around as people read the place cards and find their seats. The men pull out the women's chairs and people sit down. The host goes to the sideboard where Annie has left a bottle of wine in a silver bucket. She wraps a linen napkin around it and begins to pour people's wine. The conversation flows as well. The lights begin to dim. The host reaches his own seat at the head of the table and pours his own wine. Then he raises his glass.
All of us.
Everyone raises his or her glass. As their glasses go down, the lights fade to black. The table is bathed in its own candlelight. Then the 2 downstage actors unobtrusively snuff the candles, and the play is over. The end.
Hey. Great job, everybody. Claps in the round. Yeah, we all did it. We experienced the thing.
So
Hello.
Wasi.
First thing that I have to do is promote a charity. This is something that this is a charity that I've done for 2 other shows? 1 show? I'm not sure. Trans Women of Color Collective. Donate to these people. It's terrific to enjoy these stories. A story of a show that has been written by white people. That is, again, the dining room is terrific. But let's elevate other people's stories. TWOCC.US. Go donate. Really easy. Go to that website and there's a donate tab. Click donate. And donate to stories being told of people who do not have the same privilege that you have. Significantly enough, there's a donation information and it has I would like to make a donation in the amount of, and it automatically chooses $1,000. You could choose $5, you could choose $10, $50, other. You could choose your own sort of donation amount. But I think that that's important. Go donate. That's important. Come watch people read the show tomorrow night. I think it's important to support our fellow actors. Yeah, go. If you're not busy tomorrow night, support other people reading the show. I think you all did a terrific job. I think one thing that's cool about what we're doing is we offer 2 nights and 2 different sets of people reading the show. So support this show and people that are reading it. Come to the discussion on Monday night. Andy, as most of you know, I think all of you know, you've all been to a discussion. He asked terrific questions. He asked terrific, wonderful, poignant questions about these shows. So come put your opinion in. I personally love to talk a lot, but I also love to shut the fuck up a lot and listen to other people's opinions about things. So I would love to hear all of your opinions about these things. So come tomorrow night, listen to other people read it. Come on Monday night and discuss it. I don't have much else to say. Does anybody else have anything they want to say before I press stop recording?
Thank you so much. You guys are so talented.
Thank you.
Agreed. I agree with E. Slims. E. Slims are better than Virginia Slims, too.
Here's Anna.
There's to you.
Annabelle wants to be heard.
Really happy to be here.
Cool.
She's very waspy.
I'm gonna press stop recording unless anybody else has anything they want to say. Stop recording.